Hello, welcome to this Super Bowl post NFL season edition of the Broken Goalpost podcast here. So today we are going to be talking about um, Super Bowl oddities, in which um, in a decade only one team has made it to the Super Bowl. You can call them flukes, you can call them oddities, you can call them gems, whatever it could be. Um, each decade, there has been several teams that, at least one, maybe two teams that have made it to the Super Bowl. When you look at the Super Bowl list, it becomes an oddity. Um, and sticks out like a sore thumb. Some of the losers could include the LA Rams from 1979, and the Atlanta Falcons from '99, the Carolina Panthers in 2004, as well as the Arizona Cardinals. But we're not going to be talking about the losers today. We're going to be talking about the winners. And as much as I would love to do it in a special order, we're going to be going by appearance per decade for the oddities here. So let's start out with the 1960s with the New York Jets. Jets, Jets. They have only won that one Super Bowl. They only went to that one Super Bowl, and they are no longer been to Super Bowl since. Supposed Joe Namath had put in an inadvertent curse on the Jets ever since, and they never been since. Um, Next up, we got the 1970. Now, I am going by the year the Super Bowl happened, not the season itself. So even though this happened in 1969, the Super Bowl happened on January 11, 1970. The Kansas City Chiefs. So, Kansas City Chiefs took them about 50 years to get back to the Super Bowl. So they definitely deserve this spot, more so than all the others from the 1970s. Honorable mentions would have to be the Baltimore Colts and the Oakland Raiders. But we're not going to be doing the Oakland Raiders nor the Colts for obvious reasons. The Colts do deserve this spot as well, arguably, but they are just not um, as snake bitten as the Kansas City Chiefs were back then. And they lost a lot of their players after that season. Um, so the next decade, the 1980s, I hate to say this. I really hate to say this and put this in here because we're talking about the team, a team with the best defense in all of NFL history, but their Super Bowl win sticks out above all the others. When you look through the list of the Super Bowl champions of that one decade, the 1985 Bears, the 1986 Super Bowl, the Chicago Bears have to be on this list. It cannot be the New York Giants or anyone like that. It's going to have to be the Chicago Bears. Not Giants are not on here is because they went back a few years later in 1991. That's what keeps them off this list. Unfortunately, I did not. I hate to say that, but they were a force to reckon with. 1990s could make an argument for the Giants due to that fluke of a victory of the wide right. Um, as much as they could just thank the stadium or the wind for that, or even the field or whatever it could be on that victory. But we're not going to be doing them because of the aforementioned fact that they won back in the late 80s in 1987. Um, you could argue the Washington Redskins, but they won two in 1980 as well. And their last victory was in 1988. So, what would be the point in saying that, oh, if the Giants can't make it, the Redskins should? That they're in the same spot. The only other ones that are not in that same spot situation is a team that won the Super Bowl and went back and lost it the next year for the 1990s, and that is the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay went to the Super Bowl in 1997 during the 1996 season, and they won it. And then the next year, they were going to build on that momentum, and they lost out on repeating and having 1990 as a unicorn year where there would be no other teams. And in fact, in that specific case, this pick may actually be replaced by the Denver Broncos at that point. But unfortunately, it has to go to the Green Bay Packers. 2000s. You can argue as much as you want to about St. Louis Rams. They could have easily got on the 1990 list easily, but we're going by the Super Bowl year rules, not the season. So they would be online with the Kansas City Chiefs. So it's going to be very difficult for me to say them. Um, you could argue the Baltimore Ravens as well, but we will be going with none other than the 2003 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oh, why not the Colts then? No, no, no. The Colts had a Hall of Famer, Peyton Manning, and Marvin Harrison on their team. They ain't going to be making this list at all. We going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because ever since then, they just crashed out. They crashed out all throughout the remaining of the decade. They were never there again. And now we go to the 2010s, and we got the Green Bay Packers. No, 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 not the Green Bay Packers. The New Orleans Saints, maybe? With Bountygate and all the other things that went down throughout their season. Get out of there with that shit. No, no, we're going with the Philadelphia Eagles with their backup quarterback. getting their first ever win with the backup quarterback going against the unbelievable New England Patriots in Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. Why not go with that? I mean, seriously, why would you choose the other two over that? And don't get me started on the Denver Broncos. That was his Peyton Manning's retirement year. So no, we ain't going with that. We're going with the Philadelphia Eagles. And finally, 2020s. It is halfway over, halfway done. Seahawks just won it, so we cannot say them on this list. So we got to go with the Los Angeles Rams. Because Aaron Donald's last year, and they were just an immovable object throughout the playoffs, and they have been still ever since, bar none of this year where they went to the championship again against the Seahawks. But still, let me know what you'll think in the comments, and I want to thank y'all for watching. This has been DJ Zero.